Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole lore and friend, the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. Recently, I've been talking a lot about like Bayonetta 3 and how it's better than Devil May Cry and how the Devil May Cry series can't compete with Bayonetta. But I kind of realized, over the past couple of days, that is kind of not exactly true. That isn't the actual case. People want to make this a rivalry between Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, with the general YouTube audience insisting that Devil May Cry 5 is so much better than Bayonetta that it's not even worth playing Bayonetta at all. When in reality, Devil May Cry is not just competing with Bayonetta. It is competing with Platinum Games' entire backlog. Like, what you have to understand is that, like, the last Devil May Cry game was Devil May Cry 4, released in 2008. And since then, we've gotten games like Mad World. We've gotten the original Bayonetta. We've gotten Vanquish. We've gotten The Wonderful 101. Bayonetta 2. Astral Chain. Nier Automata. Bayonetta 3. Isn't it kind of interesting how it seems like Platinum Games is putting out more games than the Devil May Cry team has? Even if you are massively contrarian and try to say that the reboot came out, the Devil May Cry reboot came out, that was good, like that was better than Bayonetta 3, like some people are doing. Even if you try and include Dragon's Dogma or even DMC4, even if you try and lump together all these Capcom produced games together, Capcom can't compete with Platinum Games. Platinum Games has always, in its entire history, been putting out better Capcom games. In fact, the team that was putting out the great Capcom games back in 2005, the mid 2000s, were former Platinum Games employees. So who exactly at Capcom is making better games than Platinum? It isn't the Devil May Cry team. The games that are being produced at Platinum are better, more innovative, more creative, more visually striking than anything that Capcom is producing. It's not just Bayonetta. If you take into account everything Platinum has produced for Nintendo Switch, you'll realize that they completely destroy Devil May Cry 5 and everything else that Capcom has produced in the recent past. Other than Monster Hunter. And Monster Hunter is kind of its own thing. It's not the same thing as these pure action games. It's an action RPG franchise, right? When it comes just to pure action games, Platinum Games stomps the fuck out of Capcom and Devil May Cry. And fanboys don't really want to admit it. That's been the problem for a long time, is that fanboys don't want to acknowledge the superiority of Nintendo and their partners, including Platinum Games. And in this specific instance, it feels like there is a coordinated group of individuals, YouTubers, who are really desperate to try and pretend that Devil May Cry is on some untouchable IP, when in reality, Devil May Cry 2 has existed for 2 decades. How often do you see these people bring up the fact that Devil May Cry 2 exists? It's weird how often I see people like the Gaming Brit Show come out and try to say that oh, Bayonetta 2, it's a massive step down from the original. When Devil May Cry 2 exists. These people will come out and seriously try and attacking Bayonetta sequels while ignoring all the problems that the Devil May Cry sequels have had. Or ignoring the fact that Devil May Cry wasn't as good as Bayonetta to begin with. Devil May Cry has 2, it has the reboot, it has 4, which isn't as good as people like to pretend it is. You have all these issues with this IP that the fanboys just don't acknowledge, and then you have them exaggerating problems with Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 3. Because, I have problems with Bayonetta 2, right? I don't like everything they did with that game. I actually kind of, called it one of the most overrated Wii U games for a long time. It's not until recently where people have started using it, weaponizing it to use it against, to attack the IP, that I've kind of backtracked on it and said that well, is the game not good as the original? No. But is it all bad? Also no. When I finished Bayonetta 2, when I presented it, I kind of realized that this game has a lot of problems. It's not my favorite Bayonetta game, not my favorite Platinum game, period. The Wonderful 101 was way better. It's not my favorite game, period, but it's still more fun than Devil May Cry. It's still better than any DMC. Like again, it's not on the same level as the original, but does that make it bad? Like again, it's the same way I feel about No More Heroes 2, really. It's interesting how those trilogies seem to reflect each other in that respect, where it feels like, oh yeah, the sequels aren't as good, but does that make them bad? No, I don't think so at all. And with that in mind, I think I think gamers really need to start rejecting this kind of nonsense from YouTubers because like no, I don't think any serious fan of Bayonetta is calling it the 9/11 for gays or whatever whatever they're calling it, whatever like certain individuals are calling it now. Like I don't think it killed the trilogy. Killed the franchise. I don't think that these narratives are going to stick. I don't think these games are going to be seen as worse than DMC. Like I just don't think it's going to happen. Actually, I know it's not going to happen. Like the people who are like rampantly coming out and like support for these ideologies, like they are going to be derided by the community. I do think we're kind of at that point now where people are going beginning to realize that like people like Pat, people like Susie Hunter cannot be taken seriously. Like these guys are not game critics. These guys are not able to adequately describe a game's flaws and give credit where credit is due. Like they're not able to think critically about anything. Like everything they do is warped by their insane worldview. And I think the reception to Bayonetta 3 really strongly reflects that. I think the reception to like a lot of Nintendo games really strongly reflects that. I think the only thing like with Bayonetta 3 that's different is that like it's a lot more transparent to certain people, right? Right? Like I think there is a lot of backlash to like the criticism of Bayonetta 3 and well deserved in my opinion. Like there I have seen like no real genuine like criticisms of this game. It's all in bad faith. It's all like an attempt to like downplay this big new Nintendo game in favor of praising like another IP from another company, right? That's why this game is getting so much flack from certain people. It has nothing to do with the game itself. It has everything to do with pushing an agenda. And it's a big reason why we, as gamers, should not take them seriously.